Welcome to the Chromaniacs, your weekly look inside San Diego FC and MLS. I'm Craig Elston, joined by my Chromaniacs, Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, for our second episode of Season 2 of the podcast, episode number 30 overall. It's Chromaniacs time, and we've got a crazy busy preseason news week to dive through. Tony, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Well, it was another interesting day over at training. We got some sound, some new faces, old faces, and a final nail in the coffin, at least for San Diego FC, it seems, and Mikey Varas in the Chucky Lozano saga. So we'll get to all of that. Alex, ¿cómo estás?
It's been good. Things are good. You know, this is my favorite part of the week, and I hope it's everyone else's too. You know, when we're back together, Chromaniacs, and we get to talk about this soccer team.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. And if you happened to miss it for any reason, last week we restarted Chromaniacs with Season 2, Episode 1, and then created the most irrelevant episode in Chromaniacs history as the very next day, Chucky Lozano ruled out by SDFC going forward. So we did an emergency podcast, and that is available if you are listening to us or if you're watching on YouTube. It's kind of the next video down. So give it a look. If you want those very immediate thoughts, we went live on YouTube. We were taking listener comments as well. And we do that, you know, for our post-game shows and for big events. So this week, all the fallout. Nail in coffin, Mikey Varas, because Chucky says Chucky's ready to play. Chucky wants to earn starting left wing. It's like, what's the matter, folks? I'm here. I'll play. It's just words. Just put me in the lineup. I'm still under your control. We'll see about that. As mentioned, we've got lots of training ground sound, and of course, there was a lot of news. Mikey Varas gets his unnamed contract extension. Dreyer gets a named contract extension, 2028-29, with a club option for 29-30. Emma Boateng is back. Okay. And we've got some young guys and some new young guys to check out. And we've got, I shudder to call it a jersey. We've got, looks like there's a cleanup on aisle 6 needed. It's like someone sprayed ketchup everywhere. Holy cow. We'll talk about what appears to be community kit number 2. All of that ahead on the Chromaniacs. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, SDFC family. Please, if you can help us out, if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit that thumbs up button. If you like the show, you might as well show it digitally. It does help us find new fans and new converts along those ways. Please subscribe to SanDiego.Futbol so that you get notified every time that we go live. Follow us on Instagram at the Chromaniacs. Let's get that over 1,000 this season. Let's get that over 1,000 early this season. How about before the season starts? Let's get rolling. Follow us on Instagram, where Terrible SDFC Memes does a great job chopping up the show and presenting some great clips for you. And of course, if you're listening to the show on podcast form and you can hit that 5-star rating, that is helpful. Little kind review also helps a little bit. Okay, when last we gathered, Chucky Lozano not in the sporting plans of San Diego FC, according to Tyler Heaps and according to Mikey Varas. So what were these reports over the last couple of days that Chucky was basically not on board with getting voted off the island? He was like, thanks for your input. My torch may be out, but I'm going to actually come back tomorrow. And why don't you put me in practice, coach? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. So what's the deal with that? What's going on?
You want to go for it, Alex, or?
No, you got to tell me what's going on.
Oh, all right. Well, Fabrizio Romano, essentially the guy in soccer when it comes to transfer talk, based out of Europe and Italy. He essentially reports that Hirving Lozano doesn't plan on leaving San Diego FC and wants to play and doesn't plan on leaving in this window, and which is completely contradictory to everything that Mikey Vadas, Tyler Heaps, and the entire apparent organization has been saying, that no, persona non grata, he is not going to be part of this club, not in the plans. He's on his own. He's training on the side. Today went over and wasn't anywhere in sight at training. So he might have had a inside training session because, again, he is still part of the club. He is still part of the club that can at some point be summoned and placed on the bench or to play at any given moment. But that's not what's on San Diego FC's mind. Fabrizio Romano, maybe was told a little bit, hey, put this out there and see how it's going to hit the ears, and maybe potentially try to weaponize the fan base to say, hey, well, yeah, why isn't Chucky playing? What's going on here? And he seems happy. He's at Northgate. He seems great. He's saying good morning to me from training ground. What's going on here, guys?
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? When you bring in a high profile player like Chucky Lozano, he can go to Fabrizio Romano, and he's not going to Mark Ziegler. He's not. That doesn't do anything here. Even locally, you do it globally with Fabs, and he does his little tweet work, his Instagram work, and yeah, that he starts the discussion right there. It's like, so yeah, what is going on with Chucky Lozano? And I think it's going to be one of those things where they might just have to terminate the contract if they really want to get rid of him. And it's one of those things that it has happened before. Vancouver Whitecaps in their inaugural season, they brought in a player for the designated spot, and it didn't work out. It only lasted 4 months for them, and they had to get rid of that contract, and they terminated it, and they were free from any other obligations from that player. So it might have to be the same type of thing with Chucky Lozano here.
So Mohamed Mansour is going to be asked to stripe a $23 million check just to make him go away. And then he gets to sign anywhere on any new contract with any club in the world. How crap is that?
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I think Tyler Heaps, he's been trying. He's been trying, and I think we heard some reports over the weekend of Cruz Azul being an option, and then maybe Real Oviedo being an option out in Spain. But I don't think those are real options for Chucky Lozano.
They're not. And again, America right now has already said no. Cruz Azul has already said no. He wants to go back to Pachuca and potentially help them in whatever capacity, but he's not going to take a incredible pay cut to go to his boyhood team. And Real Oviedo is a team in Spain that's also owned by the same group that owns Pachuca. So if I'm not going to spend for you in Mexico, what makes you think I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, let's ship you over to Europe and go that way and pay you to play for a couple months over here. What it is for sure, it's a messy situation. And I think this is the first time that there's a huge microscope on San Diego FC outside of the Milan Iloski situation that we had last season and last season. But this is now on a global scale, and it's really posing potentially a challenge for the team, as this is a little dead weight happening in training, right? Like, you're just not part of the club. You're over there. You are in your corner. Get out of here. And that's just, not ideal, and to do it in such a public way. And maybe it's just on SDFC itself. Maybe you shouldn't have come out so strongly against Chucky Lozano and made him, such damaged goods in the public eye last week. And now you just can't get rid of him.
So it bears repeating, and obviously a soccer savvy audience completely understands this, but a player you sign is a global asset in top division soccer. This is not the same as like, oh, well, you've got a major league contract. Where else you going to play, kid? No, where else you going to play is anywhere in the world. So Chucky Lozano is a good soccer player, and he proved it again last year with 20 goal contributions. And presumably, in a different world, there would be clubs around the world at some price interested in Chucky Lozano. So if San Diego FC terminates his contract, do we all agree that's fumbling the bag from a soccer operations franchise level? Because if it's not, then I've really got a follow-up question, which is what's wrong with Chucky Lozano? What's so wrong with Chucky Lozano that you'd pay him just to disappear instead of moving him the way you have to?
Yeah, that's a good question because you're looking around at other leagues. I mean, they're trying to retool right now, and in an ideal world, you could probably use a Chucky Lozano, to play, maybe off the bench, get those minutes in. But I think, you know, with his ambitions for the World Cup, he wants regular minutes and he wants regular playing time and he wants to be starting. And if it's not going to help him reach his goal to get to the World Cup with Mexico, then it's not going to be worth it for him as a player, and then it's not going to be worth it to deal with the headache, about him and with him as a team. So it's a tough situation. And Tyler Heaps, he's got a lot of work to do to try to get this player out of here, because it doesn't seem like anyone wants to make amends. It kind of seems like Chucky does. If he gets regular playing time and is like, oh yeah, I'll be here, I'll do whatever it takes. But it doesn't seem like the other side is willing to be like, okay, we forgive you, let's come back and let's forget all about this. No, I think that ship has sailed, and yeah, they got to figure out how to move his contract.
I mean, it's sailed, or it's either going to be a tiny iceberg that this team is going to have to move around, or it's going to be the iceberg that's going to potentially start you off on a very, very, backtracked sort of way to start the season. And they have until February 1st. February 1st is the closing window for this transfer window to get rid of Chucky Lozano. Is he going to maybe go over to, I don't know, to the Arabian League or Saudi Arabian League, or somewhere where he's going to be paid? There's not a lot of spots to go in MLS, but here's the thing: if Chucky Lozano himself has made peace and just said, you know what, I'm not going to go to the World Cup. I know I'm not. Aguirre is not going to pick me up. There's not enough film. There's not enough time. There's not enough realistic expectations for me to make the World Cup. Even now, maybe I just stay and collect. And maybe that's the ploy. Yeah. That's the plan. Because Chucky has done everything right according to the book of what he's supposed to be doing. He was told in the exit meetings before the season completely closed down last year and said, hey, everything's squashed. I'm here for the team. See you guys in 2026. We'll be back. Comes back. Hey, guys, I'm here with my people. Northgate, getting some tamales. This is who I am in the community. Hey, I'm here at training early on. I'm doing the great things, PR, I'm not the issue. I'm a great person to have on your team.
Right.
Come get me. Who's going to pay for me? Then SDFC comes out and says, no, he's essentially a locker room cancer. He's in a holistic way. This does not match. It's just, no, we're willing to go ahead and take it at a loss, but we're so ready for him to do better and have a chance at the World Cup. Like, that's just contradictory there. Like, if you really are willing to say, hey, we want the best for you to go to a World Cup spot, just cut his contract already. But as you'll hear, I think Mikey Vadas does say, like, yeah, no, there's teams that are interested. We've had interested teams. Well, go ahead and execute. Take the bait. Like, go for it. Time's running out.
If that's the case and they move him before the window closes, then they moved him before the window closes. They've got to move him before the window closes. The idea that you're going to turn this asset into, we don't talk about Chucky, no. Like, What is going on? That's the part that really is baffling. And I'll say this, not just to me, but to the casual people outside. I was asked in to chat about this on KUSI. And during the break, Lauren Finney is asking me, what did Chucky do? Like, why would SDFC be so mad? Because he seems like such a nice guy and he plays good soccer, and everyone can tell. He's fast and exciting, and he sells so many jerseys and so much merchandise, and he brings fans in from across the border, theoretically. Why would you terminate that relationship with prejudice? You know what I mean? Why would you do it in such a way that you potentially burn $23 million on a goodbye? We this is how much we don't want you to play. And then you have to go spend that money on someone else because now you don't have Chucky Lozano. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult for a casual fan to understand what it is that he did so wrong that they say you can't play here anymore and we can't trade you. Maybe we cut you. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm not going to overreact. But it's confusing, and I'll say to the initial question from back to the Fab tweet. I think this is just great PR by Chucky Lozano, who is not telling his side of the story. He's not running to a microphone. He's not running to a microphone in Mexico to say, "Here's what's going on," and I'm aggrieved. I'm so sad. My heart is broken. I want to play for San Diego FC and they won't let me. But instead he's putting up, like you said, no, I just want to play here. Just like almost like cheerily oblivious. Hi guys, I'm ready. What? You won't put me in? No, I'll be ready tomorrow. All right, coach. You want me to run cones again? Okay, coach, I'll do it. Obviously there's something more there. And I think it builds a lot of pressure on the franchise not to have a better explanation for what's going on with their Rady Shell premium player, original, DP. Tell us, give us more than what you've given. And maybe they'll only do it when he's out the door. And maybe that's just the situation that it is.
Yeah. It's hard to explain to any casual fan, especially those fans that are coming in to see Chucky. That was the primary reason they wanted to follow this club in the first place, was to see Mexican national player play in San Diego. So that's really hard to do when there's very little to go off of. Like, we kind of can put pieces together here and there, but and it's hard to say, like, because when the season starts and let's just say it goes off to a rocky start, and it's like, oh, that run could have been better played if we had Chucky there, and then it turns into another Alaska situation for the next few weeks, and then you're like everybody, Mikey Varas and Tyler Heaps, are gonna have some hard questions to try to answer of, like, why couldn't this work out? Why couldn't you have handled this when you kind of need a good quality player on the roster? And they're going to have to answer to that if this doesn't go well.
That's a perfect excuse they have, though, too, for Chucky Lozano, right? Like, he's dealt with Ancelotti. He's dealt with, these other managers with experience and a regality and a resume. He's dealing with, in his eyes, Mikey Varas, who has never coached adults. So how would he know any better? Or how can this one-year coach, which is also something that I've been seeing around, is how could this first-year head coach think that he can handle a player like Chucky Lozano? Like, you're still supposed to go ahead and be able to manage that. You're still supposed to be able to handle your superstar divas and still get the best out of them if you were a more experienced manager. But again, we have to go ahead and know exactly what happened. And it seems like, from what I've been able to gather in just different conversations here on out, like, these are things that, yes, it happened not just in Houston, but this was a lot of just moments throughout the season of tension that sort of boiled over, and it boiled over to the point where it just got very close to, getting physical. And so this is where for Chucky Lozano, it's not a good narrative to see, okay, what's the truth? What's the truth here? And I don't know if a team is willing to just give up $23 million like that the truth is going to be in favor of you, regardless of what's being put out there in the public eye. But we won't know until we hear from Chucky's side.
Still waiting. It really is a story that's going to hang over the team, no matter how many other headlines you make. And the club made a bunch of other headlines in quick order. And first off, if this was a Mikey Varas power struggle game, set, match, Mikey Varas has a new contract extension, and they wouldn't even say how long. Isn't that weird that they wouldn't say how long?
Yeah,
it's weird that no one got that piece of information either. So no one has it reported on how long it was. So we can only guess.
Mean?
Yeah.
Why would you do it that way? What does it gain the club? To me, it gains the club the ability to say it was a 1-year extension and let him go.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Mikey Varas and it's a 4-year extension, I want that out there. That I've been extended for 4 seasons to be the head coach. I want the players to know. Oh, you think that there was a power struggle and I'm going to fail? I'm here for the next 4 years, cowboy. Instead, so that's just weird. I don't know. I think it's odd. Do you? It seems like you guys agree, right? It's a little odd.
Yeah. Like why hide it? Like these are the things that I've come across in this American version of soccer, which is so secretive and what's wrong with this player? Well, it's a lower body injury, it's a ingrown toenail, or it's a amputated leg. It's one of the two. It's so why just let us know and to have some transparency, and that way you can go ahead and have a realistic depiction of what it's going to be like for the team moving forward. It's not a competitive advantage. How does knowing the length of a coach's contract a competitive advantage for another team? I'm not sure, but it just leaves for questions. It leaves for a container to fill it with your own assumptions, and that's something that SanDiego.FC has been done very well at, not having that and being very transparent. But they just choose very odd ways to not be as transparent as possible.
Yeah, all it says is like multi-year contract, so it could be 2 years, and that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
And we don't even know the details.
It could be 2 seasons.
Yeah,
right. There's going to be 3 seasons over 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't even know the initial contract terms anyway. So it seems like maybe, I don't know, it could be till 28. Maybe if that. So, but I think it's just so interesting how, they kind of lit the match on Friday. Everything exploded with Chucky Lozano, and then Monday it's like, okay, business. On Monday it's Mikey Varas is first, and he gets to sign this extension. I mean, it gives some, I think a little bit, wouldn't you agree, Craig? Like, wouldn't it give you like a little bit more, I guess the wrong word's power, but like a little bit more, yeah, like a little bit more power, like within the locker room that, hey, you know what, I'm going to be here just as long as many, Yepe and Dreyer, we can get into that in a little bit, but it seems like he has a little bit more, what goes on in the locker room, and what can happen with acquisitions, and it seems like, yeah, this kind of beefed up his profile a little bit.
Maybe I'm just too deep in the weeds, but if I was in PR for SanDiego.FC, I would say that we rolled this whole thing out backwards. That you start last week on Monday announcing Mikey Vares's contract extension. I doubt it was only agreed to over the weekend. All right. It's probably been in place for months. I would then announce Anders Dreyer's 4-year contract extension because that's great news for all San Diego FC fans, presumably. Remember, things come and go in the world of soccer. Now, locking in long term can be good or bad when you're talking about high level talent and high money. But Anders Dreyer deserves it, and he was tremendous. And of course, you want to do that. So I would announce that. Then I'd announce that Emma Boateng was back with the team. Hey, okay. Barely knew you were there, but thank you for being there. The 87th minute is secured once again, but good in the room, good player, good veteran, good depth, good training ground player, so great. Emma Boateng is back. I would have rolled out Morgan, the new number 9, at the first media availability. Let's bring him out and say hello. And, let's check in on this new acquisition that we've got. And then I would announce that Chucky Lozano isn't going to be a part of the team in 2026. And it's like, well, Mikey Vares, who is in a strong position, has made a strong decision. And Anders Dreyer is here, and he's locked in. And it almost feels like they rolled it in reverse because they wanted to be like it's defensive. Like, oh, Chucky, everyone's mad. Well, look at this. Vares, well, look at this. Dreyer. Look, they must be agreeing, or else, Dreyer wouldn't have signed if he didn't agree, and instead it leaves me like the whole time just going, well, that's weird. This is weird. Why don't we know the length of the contract? Why don't we know what's actually wrong? Why wasn't a deal put in place before? Why wouldn't you do what so many other clubs would do, which is play the player and, welcome him to training and try and move him, just play the game. Play the bluff. We love Chucky Lozano. Chucky Lozano is part of the team. We're trying to move him. Is that too much of a double bluff for San Diego FC fans? Do they feel like they're pulling the carpet if they do that? Maybe. But here it is, a lot of things going on, and we're going to keep coming back to Chucky Lozano. And I feel like that's just going to be the theme of the year now, is every time there's something, you circle back to Chucky, and unless they fill the hole. So I don't know. It feels like it all got rolled out backwards to me. Now, here's the exciting part. Anders Dreyer's here. What are your guys' thoughts on the paletero handing out the ice creams for the next several seasons for San Diego FC, and is now undisputably the face of the franchise?
You know what my first thought was last week when we were talking about like who was staying and going, and Tony mentioned you never know with me, when Dreyer was talking at the end of the season. I felt like someone else we know in another local team that kind of did the whole, well, this is my final year here. I'm going to be a free agent, and then the next day the owner comes in and says, no, we gotta extend you. It felt like a little of that was going on with Anders Dreyer, just trying to get that job security for another few more years. But I really do think this is great for him. I think he has finally found a league that just fits him so well with his skill set. He's I know that people had fears of him going to Europe, and he was getting calls, but this just works. Like he can be like a Sam Sturridge or other European players that have come in and just dominate. And I think he can be not only like a club legend and score many goals and have these great moments that we saw in year one, but also be a league legend and really, help grow the league. And it's great that he wants to stay. I mean, that's the number one thing. The next thing that came into mind was it's so glad he wants to stay here in San Diego. And it seems like he's been enjoying it. I mean, from all the little pictures I've seen in the last week, he really does have a smile on his face whenever he gets pictured here. So that's great. I mean, I can't believe we got him. A player I did not know a year ago, and now he's become like one of my favorite players in this league.
I mean, speaking of timing, right? Like it also comes on the heels of this Chucky Lozano news. Let's go ahead and make sure that we show everybody who the face of this franchise really is and who the
Right.
trust is. The talisman, the number 10, honors Dreyer. He's the guy. He's the one that we needed to lock in. And again, like you need to also kind of come in hot with the Chucky Lozano news and say on the first opportunity you can, because you have to turn around and make sure that you cut a deal with Honors Dreyer, who's there saying like, hey, dude, I'm the MVP. I'm the one that put up all these numbers. You're paying him how much? Okay, well, now you're going to have to pay me this much because I'm also a designated player. I deserve this much. So that's kind of a negotiation tactic. I still do agree with you, Craig, that it kind of was very against the grain how everything was rolled out. But for Honors Dreyer making his stamp here, he really does like the city. He likes the project. He enjoys it. And I do want to just put this on the back of everybody's mind as well, right? In soccer, sometimes you see these extensions, not just because you lock in the player for that amount of time, but if he keeps playing at a high level, he keeps playing at a class where somebody else is going to come over from Europe and take a look and say, that Honors Dryers guy, I might need him for a Champions League push or a Europa League push. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Now you've locked him in San Diego for a contract extension. Now he's more expensive to buy out. And now the club itself is able to regain some of that money that potentially is getting lost through another DP or whatever reason, but there's incoming money. And now you put a higher price tag on a player that honestly deserves every penny that he's been getting.
It's again, undisputably good news in the short term, for sure. And if Anders Dreyer puts up another year like the year he did in year one, then it will look like the best plan. And just outstanding use of resource by San Diego FC to identify, to select, and then to extend. Great work. And like you said, it's you can play it both ways. This way is the like, hey, no, we were right, as opposed to, I think, the more confident way, which is just, here's all the stuff we're doing. We're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. All these positive things that are happening. Here's the thing that's not happening. Chucky isn't going to be along. And it's a strong, confident group, and it's still a strong, confident group. Obviously, they have the courage of their conviction to make this move. But they're on the hook. They've got to finish it. And time is running out, and Chucky's making his plays. And eating the contract is just, I'm sorry. Unless he's that rich and he just doesn't care. And we're the Dodgers in that way. And you just, we signed a reliever to $21 million a year. He's not good. Never mind. Well, he'll just keep getting paid. We'll not use him and we'll go hire another one. Okay. Moving along. Anything else on bulletin? Go ahead. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Would you be happy that ownership would be like that wealthy enough to just get rid of Lozano, and we are kind of like the Dodgers in that sense?
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
That's like a $35 million mistake right there, and you just ownership's just like, okay, we gotta just get rid of this.
Which can either show the power of that Tyler Heaps really has in saying, no, like, I'm playing this. I am the smartest person in the room when it comes to these negotiations. Look, you guys got him here for marketing. You sold the jerseys. You did everything. You've captivated the audience. We'll take it from here on out. We don't need Lozano. For the 20 goal contributions, I can go ahead and find that in my Right to Dream Academy, and I'm going to go ahead and look for it elsewhere in other MLS veterans for a much lower price. How does that sound on the long term, guys? But you have to either eat it or eat the contract, or just watch him there and just, because again, if both of you had the red phone right now to make the call, hey, contract termination right now, or hey, he sits on the bench and he's just not contributing, but he's part of the club, which one would you take?
I think it's a terrible set of options. First off, the correct option is sell him.
Yes.
And I think the lesser option is loan him. That's like the worst case acceptable option is, well, you loaned him to some team and now it's going to be a recurring issue, but at least he's away for now, and they'll take care of the money for now. But you can't, based on what they've done, you can't keep him. I want to hear what Mikey said, but you've said nail in the coffin, so I'm just, based on the tenor of that, you can't keep him. So the idea that you're just going to have him run around the complex all summer, I guess terminating is the same thing, essentially. It's just like, don't come to the complex anymore, but feel free to live in San Diego, do whatever you want. Like, this is the money, it's yours now. At which point I would immediately pivot to, shouldn't the Sockers sign Chucky Lozano?
That's a genius move, actually.
Isn't that right? Well, he's already getting paid, So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're already getting paid, Chucky.
I know. Marco Fabian, I can convince him. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Chucky does have on his contract he's essentially has the last word, no trade clause to a team that he doesn't want to go to. So again, that's his decision that he can go ahead and do. But there isn't anything, I do believe, from what I've also heard, that it doesn't apply to loans. And in my at this point, just chaos mode, San Diego FC, EAFC, FIFA career mode, I would have done the funniest thing. And I would have said, okay, Chucky, you don't want to play. You want to play here? You want to stay with us? We don't need you. Enjoy FC Northland.
Oh man, no, the people of Denmark, man, they're pretty nice people. They don't deserve all this trauma.
I mean, just in general, they don't deserve all this. Let's just say that for sure. I mean, is the Northland pipeline about to be shut down?
I know, because of one move.
Like, look out. Who knew? Okay. Emma Boateng. Anything further to say about Emma Boateng being here? To me, it's just back of the roster. Very good guy, good in the room. Good for him.
Yeah, it's back of the roster, but there's not enough roster space, Craig. This is why I had to, sigh and be like, oh, dang it, Boateng's back. It just creates problems in my little roster sheet. That's about it. But I'm sure they're gonna figure it out. I think it just causes more people to leave the not just Chucky to leave, but it causes like more people need to leave and be on loan and not be part of this roster because you don't have enough roster space left. So it's going to be interesting to see like how if he fits or if someone needs to leave to make this work. But I mean we're kind of running out of space here. But I mean, yeah, back of the roster. I mean, he didn't really do that much yet. We'll see him in the 88th minute. Running out the clock, and that's about it.
In his exit interview, he mentioned that it wasn't his ideal for what he thought last year was going to be for him. Just he didn't get the playing time. He didn't play well. He wasn't adapting as quickly as he wanted to. And so I asked him today, like, hey, this is what you said. What changed? Like, it looked like you almost kind of said your goodbyes and, I'm going to go compete somewhere else. And he said there were options for me to go elsewhere and have a spot and have this a starting role or some sort of role within the club. But I stayed here because of the challenge. I stayed here because I want to go ahead and compete for an elite level team and an elite level position. So I'm going to go ahead and do my best and try go ahead and do that. So interesting kind of 180 there from him. I really thought he was going to go ahead and find somewhere else to go. But the fact that the club said, "Hey, we need you here," maybe another locker room guy, and just to make sure that the culture is the most important through line through the club. And again, this can be PR talk, this can be coach speak of Mikey Vadas, Tyler Heaps, and everybody up and down from that. But the culture is really comes through, and the building of it, within the walls of SDFC is a true thing. And so it's a culture signing, maybe like just for the vibes.
Yeah, for the vibes. Matt Carpenter. I don't know who else. We've seen these guys before, right, Craig? These guys just come in. They're just back of the bench, and last guy on the roster, and they're just there for leadership and whatnot.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get plussed or non-plussed on this one. It's like, okay, well, choice. You guys make choices, and that's fine along the way. SDFC did so many things right in the first year that they get the automatic hall pass to start year 2 of, okay, you made these choices. Now these must be good choices too. The results are going to color all of the decisions that are made. Whether Mikey Varas is one of the transcendent rising stars in the world of coaching, or if he's Jace Tingler, or Mike Schilt, someone who has a year, and then by year 2, people are like, ooh, tired of hearing the message. Dreyer, was that a career year? Or was it the start of something big? Well, they're saying it's the start of something big. They've made a financial decision. They've said it's the start of something big. But the last big financial decision they made, they cut bait in 1 year and deteriorated the asset so much that they couldn't move him before they had to announce that he was not welcome. No room at the inn for Chucky. So these decisions will be judged now in the context of how do you do? Can you run out there and crush it? And we shall see. And they deserve and receive at the start the benefit of the doubt.
This is where we were last year, though.
Yeah.
This is where
we were
in having all these questions of what are we going to see? How are they going to do this? They're saying all these things, but they walk the entire way. And so right now it almost feels like we're back in year 1 where we're hearing all these things like, no, trust. We have Morgan. Hey, Invarson is healthy, guys. Like, trust, this guy's going to be great. We have all these weapons that are coming back. Trust the process. And that might actually happen. But in doing a couple of other shows and talking with some other national outlets, the question, they see an outgoing or not re-signed Luca de la Torre, and they see Chucky Lozano's situation. From the outside looking in, those are the two things that people are questioning. And the first thing that they ask is, what's going on in SanDiego FC? And the answer can be absolutely nothing. They're doing what they said they've been doing. They value the culture. They want this play style, the system over everything. And all these moves make sense from inside looking out. But from the outside, I just spoke with somebody in Charlotte that was like, so what was wrong with Luca? Like, is he not this guy? Like, his stats say this thing, but what was going on? Is he not locker room guy? Or is it a SanDiego thing? Because I'm hearing this Chucky Lozano thing, this Milani Losky thing. He went over and he's thriving. So, that's just kind of interesting how the outside looking in narratives kind of forming around SanDiego FC. Nobody really understanding what's happening, but then they execute. At least in year 1 they did. And so maybe this is kind of going along those same lines.
Is that a fair narrative to say Milana Losky was pushed out by SanDiego FC because he scored goals the wrong way? I mean, because that would be the narrative you'd be building, is that you've got a Losky over here scoring goals and Chucky scoring goals and Tyler up in his room going, yeah, but not like that. Not my tempo. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Or those goals are too expensive and I can find that same goal elsewhere.
Okay, now that's a different argument than saying it's club and culture and holistic, is saying, I think we can do better. But if Mohamed Mansour's, does he just do that forever? Does he just every time, hey, you can just make $25 million mistakes, and we'll just be like, cool. Or is this like his one? The next time that the axe falls, on Tyler Heaps or even a Mikey Vares for, messing up the good thing. And how much, if a billionaire is willing to put this kind of money behind it, how much patience is he going to have if things don't go well? Because he never was tested in year one. That never came up. The 1 3-game losing streak early in the year. Come on. Yeah. Anyone would expect that in an expansion year.
Like, I mean, Vara's got extended, but not Tyler, not yet. And I think there's probably going to be more of a wait and see how this Chucky situation unfolds, and then you'll probably hear an extension after the season for him. But it kind of seems like they like you said, they're probably going to give him this one, probably because he didn't technically sign him, and Heaps is going to have to go with people that are going to fit the system, and that also goes for any other designated player in the future that they want to sign. It's all got to fit the culture, the system, everything. I mean, and I think that's going to be first and foremost before they lock in anyone anymore.
Well, wow, we've had a lot to talk about on the show. Let's get to some of the sound from this morning, as collected by our friends at SanDiego.Futbol, where the full interviews are all available on the SanDiego.Futbol YouTube page, and you can check them out after you finish watching us. But we'll react to what we hear, and I haven't seen any of this personally, so fresh reactions coming up. Let's check out Mikey Vares.
Are you guys all set? No. Take it away.
Mikey, what have been the challenges coming into this last week of preseason, getting ready with an early start for your squad? Is it fitness, or what is the area of focus?
Yeah, the challenge is how do we safely push the fitness and our game model for a much earlier game and a shorter preparation, but without taking unnecessary risks, because of course we want to win the games, but we will not take our sight off of the long term, which is a 10-month season.
And then how does the club prepare in order to make sure that there's no off-field distractions, leaning towards especially the Chucky Lozano news within that group? How is it important? How are you able to go ahead and make sure that stays out of the mentality of the group?
Yeah, there's no distractions. The guys have taken this on with a full commitment to our decision, and nobody's even looked sideways one time. Everybody's training, focusing on them preparing for a great season as individuals, but also as a team.
Okay, nobody has looked sideways one time. Everyone is so unified that Chucky Lozano shouldn't be there. It's wild. It's wild. Like, is he using the wrong stall? Is he like, does he play this only one song in the locker room and insist it be played over and over at 10 volume? Like, what is it? What's the thing?
It was at what was it? Chavi concert. Yeah, that pushed everybody off the edge there. They were like, oh, we had enough of this guy.
Here's Shuki, here is Mikey Vares just also talking about the second year and what his expectations are for the second year squad under him.
All right.
Your second year now coming in with a full year under your reins for the Right to Dream style. What is the next step and evolution that you're looking for in the play style for San Diego FC moving forward?
Yeah, I think we've talked a lot about, a lot of people will assume we'll come in and try to add a lot to the system, but we actually think it's more beneficial to come in and keep hammering those basic foundations that we laid, because we laid down some good roots, but they're still fresh. So really nail those, but then we'll give a little special attention to when teams man mark us, because we've seen that that's a specific strategy teams will do against us, and then what we'll do when we face a really, really low team. So we'll do a little special attention there. But the most important thing is those basics, the foundation, and then that everybody's pushing the team chemistry, getting to know how to play best with and for each other.
Good stuff. All right.
I would like to offer to you, Craig, also, since I think I've said this a couple times, if you hear Mikey to respond to something in English versus Spanish, there's just a different cadence about him. So I want you to hear what he said about the Chucky Lozano in Spanish, and maybe we can come back and just
Okay.
kind of translate some of that.
Sure.
But here he is en español.
Y hablando también de una distracción de elementos como Chucky Lozano, ¿lo puede repetir lo que dijo también en inglés?
Yeah, no hay
Boom, boom.
No hay distracción para nada. El grupo lo notificamos con mucha transparencia, como lo hemos hecho con Hirving y su representante. Y el grupo está listo para entrenar desde el primer día. No hay nadie pensando en eso. Y mira, yo sigo diciendo que nosotros queremos que Hirving juegue a un mundial. Esto es una cuestión que nosotros no encajamos juntos, el club y él. Y él no está en nuestros planes, no va a jugar para nosotros. Y hay interés afuera, entonces nosotros ojalá que él quiere jugar un mundial para su país.
I mean, he's saying so much more in this answer than
Yes.
he is willing to say to the SDFC fans in English. We want him to play in the World Cup. He's not going to play here. There are clubs that are interested in him. You know, all of this. The team is ready. The rest he did say the team is ready. They're not thinking about anything else. You know, all of that was the same. But then he put in the actual answer. Thank you for playing that, Tony. That was illuminating.
A lot more poignant. Like, no va a jugar. He is not gonna play. Like, almost just in a more like fatherly way. Like, nope, my foot is getting put down, and that is final. He's not coming here, but we wish the best for him. But he's not playing here.
It was way more spirited. It was more like, he's not going to play. We want him to, what's best for him is to go to somewhere where he's going to get picked up by the Mexican national team, and off you go, Chucky, go. That's exactly what they want.
Wild. Again, he's very open and forthcoming in general, but it feels like this is a real sore subject. And you understand why, because we don't understand. That's why. That's why. So, I still think probably by opening day MLS we'll have a better answer. But how about Yepe? Yepe's next on the list. What's going on with Yepe?
All right,
Capitan.
El Capitan de SanDiego.FC. I'm telling you, all these Danes have really come and embraced the sunlight out in Singing Hills. Like, they're glowing, man.
Give us a rundown of what's last couple of training sessions have been returning back early in preparation for the season and CONCACAF Champions League.
It's been tough, as it should be. But that's the first couple of weeks, and everybody knows that. You just have to get your head down and start running because we need it. It's nice weather and everything. It's good condition, so we have everything we need. It's just about doing the right stuff the first couple of weeks.
And then what has it been like to be able to acclimate some of the new players coming in, and what that process is going to be like, Lewis Morgan and some of the younger players as well?
Yeah, we've been through some acclimation, you can call them, from last year also, with everybody being new, so we're kind of used to it. But I think, as they also said right away, it's a good group to come in to. Everybody's very open, and it's been nice getting some new quality, some additions to the squad, and we're just looking forward to show it.
And then how are you prepared as a captain to be able to lead the team, maybe for some off the pitch distractions with the Chucky Lozano situation as well?
I think the whole squad is pretty well suited for it. We did it also a little bit end of last year and handled it very good as a group, I feel. Stayed very focused on everything on the pitch, and it's the same mindset we're going into this one. So as we've done before.
As we've done before, so shall we do again. But it's not business as usual. It's something that they handled. You can hear him say that. We handled it and we'll handle this. But it's something on top of all of the rest of the goals of the franchise. Speaking of the franchise, how about the face of the franchise? How about Anders Dreyer. I want to hear from him, and I want to hear from Lewis Morgan before this shows up.
Got it.
You guys all set?
Honors, congratulations on the contract extension. What does it mean for you personally to be able to have the backing of the club in that way?
Thank you. First of all, no, it's nice. After the season ended last year, we started to talk about it, and I was very happy that the club wanted to extend my contract and give me a new deal. So yeah, I'm happy to stay here, and I enjoy every day driving out here, practice, and just enjoying the good weather and the way we play. So I'm happy.
And what have been some challenges coming back earlier than you were expected to come in for CONCACAF Champions League preparation?
I think it's nice. Then the preseason is shorter. I like to play games and not too many friendlies. So for me, it's nice. And with the CONCACAF as well, it's a tournament I haven't tried before. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know we are as a club as well to try a tournament like that. So yeah, I know the coaches want more weeks of preseason, but I think, yeah, for me personally, I like it, and I'm ready for what's ahead.
Good stuff. All right, Anders. Yeah, boy, he looks positively aglow.
I like it. I like how they both look. Dreyer and Jeppe. They both look like they just came back from the beach.
Seriously,
they're ready to play. I love it.
You know, I just got to say, myself, I was out there golfing on Monday morning, and we looked around at one point and just went like, "This is why you live here." You know, it's January 12th, and it's 71 degrees, and there's like a couple of clouds in the sky, and it's a beautiful blue sky, and very little wind, and it's perfect. Yeah. I get it, guys. I get why you want to be here, and I appreciate it. Let's hope that the new guy, the Scott, he's used to pool weather as well. Let's hear from Morgan.
Expected, obviously. You see the success the team had last year, so I knew coming here it would be an environment that was functioning really well, and I've came in, and I think for all the new guys, it's been really, really easy to adapt to the group. The manager and the coaching staff here have built a squad that's obviously competing on all fronts this year, and I think that's testament to the characters that we have in the changing room. And as a new guy coming in, it's been really easy to implement myself into the group, and can't wait to get going.
For anyone that has questions, allow me to take it away. Lewis, what enticed you about joining this project here in San Diego after seeing what they were able to do last year and your successes in the league? What about it made it the perfect deal for you here?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you sort of touched on there with the success the team had last year. I think this squad's really, really ambitious. It's a team that's, as I touched on before, competing on all fronts. It's the first exposure I'll have to playing in the CONCACAF Champions League, and I think that's all down to the work that's been done here last year, and what a great foundation and building block for any player to come in and try and be a part of a group that's striving for trophies and competing on all fronts. So as a player that's been in this league for a long time, I know it's hard to be successful in this league, and no mean feat that the boys were able to come in and do that in the first year last year. So to be part of that group's something that's really exciting.
And how does your play style lend itself into SanDiego.FC and their style that they've been able to develop?
Yeah, I think really, really help add maybe a different dynamic to the group. I think that's something that I spoke about with the management team coming here, was about how my profile can add to the group as opposed to just, come in and supplement it. And I think what we're doing this year is we're wanting to be a little bit more diverse going forward. And we've got loads of guys who have had so much success in the system, and maybe me coming in trying to stretch the last line and give the guys who have been really, really creative last year even more space to operate. And I'm always someone who's going to be playing on the last line, try to get in behind and making defenders think and try to get towards goal. And I think that's something that with the profile of guys we've got here will be a good match.
New favorite player.
It's your new number 9.
The group. As soon as he said the group, if you go back and look, you see me like buzz and tingle. The group. We got another handsome lad up front. Oh, man.
According to the uniform that he was wearing, he did take over Tomas Angel's number 9. and true two-footed player who can work both centrally and on the wings, potentially on the left wing, potentially
I see.
to float around somewhere else. He's somebody who I think is going to go ahead and be played towards that maybe Chucky Lozano area, and give Invartsen that space to work as well, because they are that's the message too. Hey guys, we have Invartsen, we have Pellegrino, we have these players. Like, don't forget that Pellegrino was the one that put Chucky on the bench. As much as people want to go ahead and point to that not happening, no. In Houston, Chucky was benched after they were losing at halftime. This element came in, whoever he may have been, turned the whole game around, and didn't let that position out of his grasp for the rest of the season. That's what happened. You can argue about it, you cannot, but in the eyes of San Diego FC, that's what happened. And now there's Lewis Morgan here, who's going to go ahead and hopefully be put into a situation after a lengthy injury where he's able to go ahead and succeed. When you heard Mikey Vadas talking about ramping people up very carefully, Lewis Morgan was one of the people they were definitely talking about. Later on in this meet availability, he gets asked about his injury situation. He's like, yeah, last time I kind of rushed things and I didn't do the recovery correctly and I re-injured myself, and that's just the way I am. And it's just kind of very interesting hearing that from the player perspective versus the coaching perspective, where they're like, no, we're easing everybody in to make sure that they're able to fully recover.
I wish him well.
Good. Yeah, it's good that you guys asked that question, because I'm really hoping to see a healthy Lewis, because he's going to be a big factor in this group, and then hopefully we'll see Invartsen out there. I mean, we kept asking the question, when will we see Invartsen out there last year, and hopefully this is going to be the year he gets regular minutes. He hasn't really done so since like 2021, but hopefully it's going to be this year that Invartsen shows up.
Well, the idea of a Pellegrino, Morgan, Dreyer front line is pretty exciting. The idea of a Pellegrino, Ingvartsen, Dreyer front line is okay. Marcus has got to make that exciting. You've got a little versatility, but I'll be real curious once we get to CONCACAF and we get to Pumas to see if Pellegrino's coming off the bench or if Ingvartsen is coming off the bench, because Pellegrino started during the playoff run. So are they gonna light that candle right at the start of the year for an older player, or are they gonna pull him off the bench and try and let Marcus really get his legs under him as a starting player on this team, which he very much is not after year one, or at least you would think that. All right, great training ground sound. Again, there's even more you can find at SanDiego.Futbol. Annabelle Godoy, Emma Boateng, Kieran Sargent, Wilson Eisner, right? Not Elsner? Yes. Yeah, Eisner. Yep. Okay. It was smaller type. Yep, there it is, Eisner. Okay. Check it all out. Meanwhile, Brian Zamblay, tell me, is it someone I need to know? Someone I need to learn?
It sounds like it, right? That Mikey Varas confirmed, like someone's in the training.
Yes. So he's confirmed to be on the training ground. This is a player that's coming in from the Right to Dream International Academy. So this is essentially the road team of the biggest and best prospects that Right to Dream has to offer. They go globally and participate in tournaments. He's going to be able to come in an exciting Ivorian prospect. And he's definitely going to be somebody who's going to really put competition to that left wing position as well. And so again, this is the player that was looked at, rumored to go ahead and start going into that left wing position through Right to Dream, and what a message that would send. This is him, and he's an exciting player who's now just confirmed to be on the squad from the Right to Dream Academy. So again, lots to be seen. If you look at some highlights, it's an interesting player, very young player, but it fits the exact profile of what Right to Dream is looking for, and he knows a system back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because we kind of felt like someone from FC Northland, someone was going to be coming over to kind of fill a roster spot, and it's going to be Brian. So hopefully we could see him get regular minutes here. It's not going to be one of those. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if you could tell us a little bit more, but is he going to be like part of the squad, or is it going to be more of a like he's on the roster but going to be loaned out type of situation?
It's looking like he's going to be part of the squad. And speaking of part of the squad, I actually did hear that Andres Reyes, the player that was the most highest profile at some given point of San Diego FC when they had two players back in the day, has a target return of after the World Cup. So that's the first time we've heard anything from his side, and then it's not a hey, he's out, he's not a bad locker room guy. No, he's like, no, he's slated to come back post World Cup. So
okay,
your Andres Reyes update that you didn't ask for.
Wow.
That's like a year-long injury with him, man.
Yeah, well, 2 years if you think about it, because came back to last season.
Even last season, yeah.
We're all looking forward to coming back after the World Cup. Hopefully.
Yes. Hopefully.
What's the word on San Diego FC scrimmages?
So they're going to go ahead and start ramping up again for the season. I do believe that there's going to be 4 scrimmages between now and the beginning of the season, starting this Saturday. I know that because in Emma's interview today, you can check it out. He was asked about, hey, how about them 49ers? And he said, yes, because it's after our game. So they're going to be playing on Saturday. Who the opponents are, it's going to be, I've heard it's a USL side, Phoenix Rising. For one of them, there might be a local club here locally in the SoCal region. And then one of them might be a 2-team from the Bundesliga. So some games of preparation. I believe they're going to go ahead and get ramped up for that. So interesting to see exactly what's going to start happening in Singing Hills, because the season's already here. Like it's not, they're not kidding. The season was actually supposed to start 3 weeks later than they were originally told. And here they are preparing, and it seems like everybody is prepared and happy to be playing some games.
Yeah. Looking forward to the reports, which probably there won't be very much of, right? None of these will be covered. None of these will be televised. They'll all be closed.
Door.
They'll be using trialist names and so on and so forth. Are you going to be sneaking in, Tony?
I don't think I'm allowed for these games, closed doors sessions. But I mean, if anybody really wants to get creative, if you really want to go down that hill through Deheza Road and then just have a car going uphill and just talk to each other as far as what you're seeing, that was just.
Oh man.
And please drive safely.
Please drive safely. My goodness. All right. We've saved the best for last. So as we remember, last year, San Diego FC debuted their primary kit and then their away kit, but it wasn't. It was their community kit, which they then said would be designed in all future years by SDFC fans or artists or the community. You know, some version of the community is going to design the jersey. As we record today on Thursday, an image was leaked, and I believe it was on Reddit, where a community jersey was put up. And I understand we live in a world of deep fakes and hoaxes. So I'm willing to entertain the idea that this isn't real. But do you have it, Tony? Can you put it up? Okay.
There it is.
Was okay. Well, one thing that's interesting before we even talk about the odd splatter pattern on the jersey is that they've gone away from a navy blue on this, and it kind of matches, I think, what they had on the Palomar on Anders Dreyer's warm up that he had. They've gone to not exactly a Charger blue, like a Charger blue, but one gradient darker. But you'd agree it's a lighter, it's not quite that powder blue, but it's powder-ish.
I think it's a DirecTV blue.
Is it?
Is that literally DirecTV's color?
I'm looking at, I like pulled up the website. I mean, if I can share it on this side. I mean, top left corner.
Yeah.
And now
I see
compare
it.
that to this blue.
But
It's a different blue for sure.
yeah. I also saw Mikey Varas kind of wearing like that, like the badge color was like the same color. Yeah.
Yeah. So the training kits this year are that crest, that logo, that's the blue and white. That's what's on everybody's training kit. So it might be a training kit. We've seen the extravagance of training kits this last season for San Diego FC. There wasn't necessarily a third kit, but all those training tops and training warm-ups, the cool zigzag pattern with teal and blue, like those came out. They were pretty cool. I see the Adrenas insurance stamp.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's got all the logos, so that tells me it's not a training kit because you wouldn't have to logo them all. You've got a different partner for your training kit. That's Palomar. But as for the design, apparently community kit means leave it at the Costco, buy the ketchup and the mustard, and just have a boy have at it.
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
It'll all be explained on the 5 paragraphs that's going to tell you exactly how this represents the community, Craig. Come on.
The
like,
explainer.
can't you just feel San Diego through this? Like, don't you just feel more San Diegan? It doesn't just scream 619-858, sometimes 760 to you?
No, it screams, I need a Tide pen to clean up those stains.
Yeah, it's all like it's a splatter pattern. I don't know if we've explained it to the audio audience, but yeah, it's just kind of like splattered, and it's blue and white, but then like with some orange splatter, like like if it came from like a ketchup hot mustard mix that just gets on your shirt somehow. Yeah,
If
it's just so weird.
If Jackson Pollock's toddler made a mess on a plate with some ketchup and mustard with his fries like this, I'd believe it. I'd believe it.
Did you do this with AI? Like, how is this real?
How is that a prompt?
Yeah,
I know. How is
describe it? You describe it for the audio audience. This is a great thing. Okay, you've got a white kit with a lighter shade of blue, and then it's literally as if someone laid it on a table and then had a ladle above it that they were spooning out condiments, ketchup and mustard, and they just drizzled it. Like you would drizzle chocolate over a chocolate ganache over some fancy cake in France, but they drizzled it just haphazardly, like, oh, well, okay, let's do a little triangle around the Adidas symbol, but let's just track right behind, through DirecTV in that one, and it's just going to go here and it's going to go there, and then they color in some blues over the ketchup and mustard. Like, oh, throw some blues in there. And some of the splashes are blue now, but what? Why? And the funny thing is, at some point, like 3 beers in at the supporters section, I'm going to look at someone wearing that and be like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I'm not going to buy it, San Diego FC. I didn't buy the other bad kit, and I'm not buying this one. Make better kits. I will buy them.
Please.
I will happily buy better kits. This is rubbish.
Yeah, this isn't a great look. I hope it's not the official thing that we're gonna see for 2026. And I stand by my stance. I think I don't know when this came up last year about bullying helps. We got to bully San Diego FC to not release this because this isn't acceptable. Like it's all splattered. It doesn't really have anything to do with like San Diego or anything really. It's just come on. It's just random splatter.
Those are the 18 cities, don't you?
The 18 threads.
Yeah, it's
unraveling. That's what they're going to say.
Gerrymandered map. This is the new California map. That's what that's what it is. It's just you're not familiar with the borders yet. You'll get it. You'll get it later when Daryl Issa loses his seat. You'll get it. You'll understand.
I can't wait for the back to be like blank.
Right?
But can't you see, like, this is how the community last year's plain white. Now the community's really ripping through, and you can wear it, and how the sunset meets the ocean and the blues and the orange, and the one thing it doesn't do, it doesn't flow. Like that nothing about this. There's too many jagged edges, and I can't. The SDFC at the bottom right again. If this is all official, like I'm not too, excited.
Am I overreacting, or is this one of the worst kits you've ever seen?
It's
like just like it like sad bad. Like why would you do this? It's truly as if the designers walked out of the room, a 4-year-old walked in with a paint pot and just went bleh, and then the next person that walked in was the owner and said yes. Done, and then the designers walked in an hour later from their walk. They're like, what happened? No, we were just getting to work. What are you talking about? It's done. They see this and they immediately resign. Like, what? What?
Yeah. If this is like their effort, just bring back the 2025 jersey. Let's just wear those again, because I don't mind a plain like white tee. Obviously, Tottenham, that's what they do. That's basically just a white tee. I don't mind that. It's just give us something that's a little bit more cleaner and not as messy as this is, because it's that's probably one of the worst kids I've ever seen.
Take away all of the lines. It's just the white jersey with the blue. Now that's a classic kit.
Yeah,
it's a different kit that you might respect that. And then we're only talking about the blue color.
Mm-hmm.
And we're a little bit interested, but they just threw all this drizzle on it. Ketchup ganache. Throw in a little blueberry. Like at the end. It's a food fight. It's not a kit.
Now because remember what they did with this community kit like last year, and they had like people kind of design their own like kit. What if this is just one of those kits?
I work with kids, Alex. I would have said, hey kid, try again. Here's a blank sheet of paper. Try again.
hey, you know how people say I bleed blue and orange? What this kit says to me is it's true, and your arterial spray got all over my jersey.
You're literally bleeding out the jersey.
You're bleeding out. What are you doing? By the way, SDFC, if anyone's mad, like watching this, you're hearing, you're negative, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on. Don't feed me, you know what, and tell me that I have to smile. Like, that's objectively terrible. And I will buy your merchandise. This is boring merchandise, and I bought it at Costco.
Heck yeah.
Why not? I want to support SDFC. I'll even buy mediocre merchandise. That's actively bad.
I don't need to buy official merch. someone else does it, better. So I go with them and try to help some local artists that deserve my money because the merch at SanDiego FC just isn't doing it for me.
I had this idea on Two Balls and a Mic, and because I've been crossing the border recently more often, and the mark of a team that you made it is when your jersey gets sold at the border, in fake bundles, or you have a poncho or a sarape, or you have the coin jars with your logo. Like, that's the real mark. If you gave this to one of those guys to sell, they'd rip it up and give it to the guy that's forcefully wiping your windshield and with a little bottle. Just, here you go. I can't wait for this to be like a heartwarming story now. Just like,
oh my God, yes, exactly. It wasn't even just a cancer kid who designed. It was cancer twins who designed this. It was
now we're the
dying wish that this jersey come out, and every penny of it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you they're gonna turn it around and be like, "This is our supporter, community supporter jersey, and every dollar goes to a good cause." And
so this is your out now here. This is where we go back and edit this episode and just leave this like, wow, I can really going through like.
Yeah. Great jersey.
Piet Mondrian, he had straight edges. This is just a beautiful expression of the mind.
And I love the cause that it's going to,
yes.
Just because, we got to support our local causes.
100%. And that's why I'm going to be offering an independent donation to said cause instead of buying this jersey. Because I agree. We need to support the cause and the artists, but in fact, we need to tell the artists to never work again, at least on this particular endeavor, because wow, I always feel like it's an exercise in count the triangles. Like one of those like mind puzzles, like count the triangles, only the triangles count. I think I've exhausted all of my jokes.
It's okay.
You guys can all vote on which one you liked the best.
You'll find this at your local Ross. In about years.
No. The Ross, the Marshalls, all your secondary stores.
GTM. When it gets to GTM, you've
GTM.
You're gonna get this jersey and 4 of Mary's Donuts. And it'll be a whale of an afternoon.
Shout out GTM, I guess.
Hey, listen, great space to get some random athletic shorts. Like if you just need to, get some jogging shorts or some other just completely random stuff. Feel free.
It's a museum of what expires tomorrow.
Oh my gosh! Hey, if GTM would like to sponsor Chromaniacs, we'll set up that first SDFC stand for you.
We'll slap it in front of this as a sponsor too, right there, right under DirecTV. GTM.
Oh my gosh! Oh, a little better, and you'll have my money. SDFC, a little better. This one's not enough. All right, let's wrap up the show. Thanks to everybody for being here. What an eventful night. So much going on.
Yeah.
And we'll have matches in just a couple of weeks. I still can't believe that's crazy. All right. Alex, tell everybody what's going on the website.
Yeah, chromaticfc.com. The cool thing about it, you can subscribe, put your email in, and it shows up the next day when I write something. So go there for everything I write, and Chromatic FC SD on Instagram if you want to follow me. What about you, Tony?
Well, you can find all the full interviews that we had over in training. Listen to the reaction of Emma Boateng rooting for the 49ers, I guess, and his thoughts on coming back and everything else at SanDiego.Futbol. We're going to be rolling out the ways to support us directly to go to the World Cup over on SanDiego.Futbol. So check it out. Craig.
All right. Looking forward to doing that. It won't be for buying a ketchup splattered jersey.
No. No, it will not. I have designers friends that would be like,
Right?
what's going on here? I could have done better just knocked out on narcotics and socked in the face. Like, come on.
Well, for us as a collective, please follow us on Instagram at the Chromaniacs. If you made it to the end of this show and you haven't clicked the like button on YouTube, I'm starting to think it's a you problem. Please hit that like button for us. That's awesome, and we really appreciate it. And from a personal standpoint, you can follow me on Instagram at 619 Sports and Life. You can listen to Padres Hot Tub, where we are putting out new content weekly in addition. So if you're a San Diego sports fan all the way around, you can follow Tony and I doing Soccer's Overtime and get into the world of the San Diego Sockers. They've got a big match this Saturday. We talk about them on Wednesday nights live on YouTube. And Crossing Streams is my TV streaming podcast. Top 10 TV shows of 2025 is the latest episode. And the next episode coming up, which I think we're going to record over the weekend, old friend Drew Stack, Tony, will be along for one of my favorite shows, which is the streaming platform review, going from Netflix to Paramount Plus to Hulu to Disney Plus, etc. Where are the prices at? Where's the content at? What's a good value bundle? We get into all of that, and that'll be coming out early next week. So check it all out. Until next week, for Tony Sanchez, Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Thank you so much for being here, and vamos, SDFC.